I say like, well, you're the chemical engineer, you know how to do X, Y, and Z. You're the mechanical engineer that, you have this other area. And then I come in and I try to make what you're doing better. Mm-hmm. Like I try to optimize what you're doing or help you understand the process and merge those two so there's a cohesive environment.
So we can just start off with some brief introductions. So I am Celia. I am a rising senior in industrial and operations engineering. I have loved being in IOE. I think it's such a cool major that doesn't get enough hype or kind of recognition. So that's a little bit about me. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I feel the same way. I did my undergrad in industrial engineering in Puerto Rico. And then I actually did a summer research in Michigan as an undergrad. And that's how I started getting into the potential of doing a Ph.D. I was already considering it. So then I went to Michigan, did my master's and Ph.D. in IOE as well. So I feel the same way. I feel like there's so many ways that you could use your background in industrial engineering that people don't even imagine.
So kind of going into where you're working now, can you tell us a little bit about the company you work at and what your role is at that company?
So I work for Explico Engineering, and it's a consulting firm. We do accident investigation, so forensic consulting. And what I basically do is I get a case that a client comes and asks what happened, and I do the accident investigations. It could be as simple as a slip and fall case. Somebody slipped in a mall, a restaurant, and maybe the person is claiming that the injury that they have was caused from it, or they're claiming that it happened because the establishment should have done something to prevent that. And then you go and you do an objective evaluation and an analysis. So what happened at the end of the day and why this incident happened. So it could be as simple as a slip and fall. It could be a vehicle collision. And we try to explain it in simple terms to the client, and in some cases also the way to even the jury in legal cases.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. So how would you explain, or could you walk us through what a typical day for you at work kind of looks like, if there is anything as typical?
There's no typical day. I can go from I wake up and I get called and I need to do an inspection right away and I have to travel. Or there's a day that I'm just reviewing a bunch of materials and I'm just reading a lot of legal documents or any other factual information to help me understand the case. Then there's another day that I could have a lot of meetings because we're going through different cases. So it's all over. And in our case, we also do research in some specific areas to just keep building that knowledge. On my case, I do distracted driving. I do a lot in virtual reality, trying to bring virtual reality to the courtroom.
When you're working, what do you love the most about your job? Why do you care about it? What do you feel like you're making an impact, or what kind of drives you and inspires you to continue working in this field?
So I love that I work with people that actually strive to give the best. So it's the team, the people that are not only in the human factors team, but the others as well. So it's something that I really enjoy. So I know that I can pick up the phone and I have a question that might not be related to human factors, just to have a better understanding. And I know that I'm gonna get a good answer. So overall, I love that team, just environment. It's one of the things that I do, and that it's pretty challenging. So you're always looking at different ways and new cases, and a lot of cases at once. And so it's fast paced, and I actually really like that a lot.
So how did you come to choose to study industrial engineering in your undergrad?
I actually, when I was in high school, I did a summer job in the Department of Water Resources, and the manager that was in charge of my group, he was actually an industrial engineer, and I didn't even know what that was. I actually applied for computer engineering, and at that point I already got accepted. So the first thing I did when I started in college was changing majors to industrial engineering. So that's how I ended up being. It was just more of exploring and, meeting people, and they told me what they did, and I liked it.
What advice would you have for students who are still trying to either figure out what they're doing or trying to find jobs that they feel like they care about or they feel connected to, and not just finding a job just to like be an engineer?
Well, it depends on what stage they are, right? Like if they're an undergrad freshman, they can even just start looking for different internships and try to explore different areas, even if they don't know if for sure they're gonna love that. But if they get the exposure, they can get a better understanding. The other thing is just looking at the different student organizations, and just talk with people, talk to professors. You would be amazed how many times, like, you as an undergrad specifically are more scared of talking to the professors and the instructors, and they're more than willing to talk to you and tell you, what are the areas that they do, and they're, even if you go research route or industry route. So at least, it's hard to learn from other people's experiences, but you could always see what sparks your attention when they mention something.
That's very good advice. What do you think, this is kind of out of the blue, but what do you think your college self would think of yourself now?
One of the things that I was just wow, was when I just started my work and Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico. And I found myself in the middle of leading the Hurricane Maria, like the Michigan statewide relief efforts. And I was able to leverage the network that I had from Michigan, and that resulted in the distribution of 50 tons of essential goods from Michigan. For me, it was just like, now, hindsight, I look back and I see all the things that we were able to accomplish, and I don't know how I ended up being in the middle of all of it. And the connection between all the big companies in Michigan and majors that were calling me, companies from Puerto Rico, from the private sector all over. And I think that's something that ended up being, of course, because of the network and the skills that I built in Michigan.
Wow, that's so amazing. And kind of looking back on that experience, how does it make you feel that you were able to accomplish all of that as just like a single person and with a few supporting members?
No, it feels great. It feels like there's still much to be done, and you even go back there and there's still much help, and it was just but it was great to see that the team that we created and the people that helped me co-lead this activity, we were able to join many forces and get something done. So it's something that we're all proud of.
Awesome. That's very cool. Thank you for going into detail about those. Well, I think that's all that we have. So thank you so much for joining us and sharing all of your experiences. I'm sure that the people that watch this video will feel very inspired and excited about everything you had to say. So we really appreciate you taking your time to be here.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.